Hello,
Bangarang,
Bangarang.
everybody.
Hey! Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Do
That
we
was
want
not planned.
No, it was not.
No, it's
You
okay.
sure? 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, no.
Okay. You missed your chance. That's fine.
Gotta be quick on your feet in these.
I'm the old lady in this movie.
You should know that. So, guys, we just watched Hook. It's my favorite movie of all time.
Tristan is still rock
He's
hard.
so... It's like he was about to kiss his grandmother rock hard.
yeah.
That's a reference, sadly.
To Hook. Somehow, that's a reference to Hook.
It's Tristan's excitement for this was very endearing. He messaged us all throughout the week saying how excited he was.
I was.
I wasn't disappointed. I have never seen this movie before.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Most people have seen this movie.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I've seen it referenced or clips from it, but I've never sat down and watched
Maybe
it.
this isn't a very referenced movie.
Really? I feel
No.
like To Die would be a great adventure.
That's a Peter Pan
Yeah.
quote, not a Hook
Oh,
quote. So.
is it?
Oh, there's a lot of like quotes that are based
Yeah, I
on
don't
Peter
know.
Pan quotes in this movie.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I only hear Rufio a lot. That's the reference I hear a lot is Rufio.
Rufio, always Rufio,
I didn't like
Rufio,
it.
Rufio.
Didn't like
Oh,
I
that is
didn't like
so
Rufio.
dangerous.
He was an asshole.
No, okay.
Rufio was an asshole.
So yeah, just a heads up, this is my number 1 favorite movie of all time, but I have given both Emma and Alex specifically, permission to tear it apart.
Yeah,
Because
I guess I will throw that as a little disclaimer, is that as a whole, I do think this is a decent movie. It's a pretty fun watch, but you guys aren't here to hear me say nice things in front of Tristan about Hook. So for the people, I'm going to shred it.
Woo!
fantastic. You
All
just
right.
peaked our damn microphone.
Sorry.
Great.
It was a hell of a roller coaster, that's
It-
for sure. I got a little zoned out at times, and I was
Yeah.
a little...
I mean, it's actually a very long movie.
It's like 3 movies in one,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does.
Yeah.
No, each
It's pretty long.
I mean, a movie has 3 acts, and it does feel like
Yeah.
every act is a separate movie.
But, like,
at times.
exactly. Every act had a beginning, middle,
It feels
and
more
end.
like a mini trilogy, in fact.
Kind of. It kind of boomeranged a lot. Bangerang.
Very good.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
came to
yeah,
the same
yeah.
point,
Oh, yeah.
went back around for
No,
this
I
like,
have
emotional
some notes about
turmoil,
about
and
the,
then came to the same conclusion
the-
about 3 different times.
Yeah, and then some things still somehow feel rushed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting.
Let me also make this disclaimer. Just because this is my favorite movie of all time, I know it can be a seriously flawed movie.
Yeah,
I know that
a
there
big
are flaws
reminder,
in this
these
movie.
are our personal top movies. So,
Yeah, so if you love this movie and don't want to see it torn apart, just know you're not going to find a bigger fan of this movie than
you
me.
got Tristan
It's
on your
fine.
side.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely
So-
fine. Because you'd be shocked. There are people that will, like, they will defend this movie till their dying breath. And it's a
honestly,
great
I
movie,
believe
but...
that. It's the same thing about Princess Bride, right?
True.
It's a movie that was
Yeah.
a part of everybody's childhood. It was like,
yeah, but
you
the
know,
differences between Princess Bride and Hook is a good movie.
this is a better movie than this is a better movie. Than
It is
Princess
a way
Bride.
better movie.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to shred this nearly as much as the
I
three of
kind
us just
feel
went
like
in on
that
Princess
I
Bride.
see a similarity in the fantasy world it's
Yeah.
created.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super immersive
Yeah.
fantasy land.
Absolutely.
And I was really, really blown away by the set design.
I know.
And what the hell was the budget for this?
It was actually,
Do you
I believe
know?
at one point it was the most expensive movie ever made.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense because
Yeah.
I really was astounded for you saying that everything was real.
Yeah, I mean, it
Everything.
looks.
I mean,
and it
aside
is-
from the CGI that
I mean,
was
that's the
done for-
same with the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
Like most of their sets, the original Lord of the Rings movies are real.
which
And
I
it is a
haven't
shame
seen,
when you
so-
watch those movies and when you watch this. It's like Lord of the Rings, you can understand a little more. They had to take those sets down because they, were outdoors and maintenance would be difficult, and also they were
Yeah.
on top of like really nice mountain stuff. These were all inside on sets, and it seems
Yeah.
like a complete shame that they're now just scrap. Like
Yeah,
even if you had
it's
never
kind
seen
of-
Hook, you could have just opened up that Lost Boy area as like a playground for children. It'd be awesome.
What did
Sony
they
Studios in
do with
California.
it? I mean, it's
I mean, it's
outstanding.
parts of it still exist. It's just it's taken down
It's
now.
in storage.
Which
now.
I agree is a
Although-
huge shame.
So 27 is the lucky number in my family. I was
Okay.
born on February 27th. My mom was born on May 27th. My life-changing surgery, July 27th. I lived on 27th Terrace my entire life. 27, 27, 27. I found out the other day that the pirate ship, like the main set of Hook, takes place on Soundstage 27.
Oh,
So
that's pretty magical.
it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Cool.
On my 27th year of life, I'm just going to take a year off. I'm going to make it the best year ever.
Or take a full year on nonstop.
That's what I do all
I
the
know.
time anyways.
I know.
That
I'm
does
gonna
mean
go-kart
that
every
you're-
day.
More.
It's a prophecy. That means either you're gonna be fully make your first feature at 27, or you're gonna die. I don't know what the prophecy is for.
I don't know which
but
one of those I'm aiming for. You know, depression still exists, so I'm kidding.
This
let's
movie did
go with
Classic
weirdly.
Hook reference.
It did weirdly portray depression via Hook.
Yeah, I got a theory about that.
Okay.
Do you want me?
I wanted to talk about this.
To drop it on. So in the
Let's
movie,
drop it.
there's a very odd sequence in which
Also
Hook
the best sequence.
points a gun at his head and says, "I'm really gonna do it this time. This is it. I'm doing it. Don't try to stop me. Don't try to stop me."
Don't you dare
stop
try
me.
to stop me
Don't
this
He
time,
looks
Smee.
at
Try to stop
Shmi
me.
and says, "Try to stop me," and it's this weird scene where he's like struggling with wanting to kill himself and end it all.
The
Which
delivery is also very flat, and
Yeah.
not flat, but like dry.
and it's
It's
out of nowhere. I mean, he just all of a sudden he pulls out the gun and Smee rolls his eyes, and then he just.
he said, "Oh, are we doing
right
this
there,
again?" Or
yeah.
something
And
of
you're
the
Oh
sort.
no, not again.
So
Are you getting dramatic?
My theory is that the reason that Hook is so obsessed with bringing Peter Pan back to Neverland is because he wants to die.
Yeah.
But he has no other way to die, like killing himself isn't good enough. I wrote, all Hook wanted was Pan back so he could feel the sweet release of death.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
But it has to be by Peter Pan's
but it has to be
hand.
by Peter Pan because he hates living, which
Yeah.
is, yeah, he hates being alive.
He seems like a very depressed man.
Yeah,
I
Seems.
kind of relate
which
on a level to
yeah.
Hook. I
What?
do. What? He's a very dramatic man, and he has this whole fabrication of this fancy pirate leader life, and inside he's just an empty shell
like,
of a
wants
man.
to continue a war with
Yeah.
children, and also like there's a thing where he just tends to kidnap other children
From the 1920s.
from the 1920s or so. Like, you know, the place where they're keeping Peter's daughter is like in a room with like 4 other children that look like they came out of a.
They're Newsies.
They look like they came out
They
of
look
a,
like
a
Newsies.
Dickens novel.
Yeah.
It's like, how
There's
long have
one
they
that
been on
looks
this-
directly out of Oliver Twist.
Yeah. Like, how long have they been in this ship? And like, they reference the fact that the Lost Boys have been pretty continuously fighting with the pirates. So
Yeah.
presumably the Lost Boys.
But they also
have
seem
just
like they're at a
abandoned these
standstill
children.
too.
Yeah, like the war
The
has
Lost Boys have
stopped.
expanded. The pirates have expanded.
At the beginning, I'm like, well, both are an equal match for each other.
Well, but
which is
how
why
could
they
the
kind of
Lost
live in
Boys
peace.
expand without saving people from the pirate ship?
They couldn't.
No, every time a baby falls out of its crib and is forgotten, that child is flown off to the Neverland.
Oh, so
Okay.
that's canon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
canon.
That was
How
a weird
often are
sequence.
babies falling out of cribs and then people immediately forgetting those babies?
How many children did you count in this movie?
I know, but that's a sad
Quite a
reality.
lot.
That can't be true.
Well,
He just said it was
obviously
canon.
it's not true, but I mean in the Peter Pan
Suspend
universe.
your disbelief a little
It's
bit.
happening constantly. Parents are constantly forgetting about their children.
Yeah, and that's also why there are no girls in Neverland, because girls are much too clever to fall out of their cribs.
Is that true?
Yes, that's
That's
what's spoken in the
Barry's-
novel.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Did you've read the novel?
Oh yes,
I'm presuming.
I have read the original novel many
Okay.
times.
I'm not
And
gonna read
this
it. but
thing is
it's nice to have the
strong.
insight.
They make so many references to
Boy,
this
do
novel.
they. It's
Huh?
a little obnoxious at first.
Oh, he means to the novel. He doesn't mean in general. But we had a count
but it
going.
is to like Peter Pan mythos
Yeah.
when he's not Peter Pan and he's just Peter
It was
Barry
quite a
Fanny.
lot.
in his business, and like the amount of like wink, he's Peter Pan. It was getting.
Yeah.
I was not.
I
like,
didn't
We got
realize.
it.
You're
guys.
not going to believe this, but one of the hugest critiques that critics gave this movie is
Yeah.
it seems to ignore the original source material.
What?
Yeah.
That's an insane critique. It is way.
What?
Like the whole
They were caking that shit on in the beginning.
When he's like,
It starts out with a play about Peter Pan, like
it does.
straight from the movie.
Also, like, I mean, when Wendy is telling Peter, when I got married, I wore a pink satin sash.
Yeah.
That's also in the novel.
Yeah.
Eventually, Wendy got married. She
Right
wore a
before
pink satin
he
sash.
almost kisses his grandmother.
Right. Yeah. And
That was a really sexually tense scene.
That was.
She did it well.
And I do believe that he should have kissed her. It was a better scene if they had kissed.
You believe that Peter should have ended up with Wendy in this movie?
They should have.
But
They
he
should have made out a little
kissed
bit.
they should have made out a little bit.
I mean, he made out with Tink and mermaids.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
If this was a PG-13 movie instead of PG, maybe we could have gotten
He
that.
should have made
It's
out
PG.
with
Okay.
Professor McGonagall.
Which is weird because at one point Peter just runs up and just stabs the pirate.
There was a moment where I felt it was very Harry Potter-esque during the feast that they were having when all the food appeared.
Yeah,
it was
and they
very
played that
the
music that
Feast
was
of Hogwarts,
very-
and it was
yeah.
very reminiscent of the score that they
score,
play
yeah.
during the Great Feast. At
Or
the
the Great Feast is reminiscent of this one because this movie came long
Oh,
beforehand.
well then maybe that.
Yeah, I mean this movie is a 1991
forget.
movie. This
Yeah.
movie came out in 1991.
What was the original Harry Potter? 1998?
2001.
2001?
No, the movie
Yeah.
was 2001.
2001.
Okay.
The first book was
yeah, but you're
1998.
right, the movie was 2001.
Was it?
So
Okay.
they're actually exactly 10 years apart.
Okay, yeah.
By a couple months.
Oh,
This Hook
okay.
came out in December and Harry Potter came out in October.
All right.
I'm the fun fact guy this time, guys.
I love it. I'm enjoying the fun fact.
There's a
Full
lot.
of the Hook.
The Hook
Like,
knowledge.
I do not have this many facts about either Brick, which is my number one, or
Which I can't wait for.
Troy, which is my fun number one.
And
But it's
Hook
technically
is
my
both
number
my
five on
fun
the
number
list.
one
Yeah.
and my.
We will go off into a weird tangent about Tangent Universes. When
I
watch
found
it
a
on
video the other day
so.
that's why you're wrong about Zack Snyder, and I want to watch it with you.
Man.
But that's all we'll say on that subject right now.
You're right. I forgot my obligatory Zack Snyder jab in this review. I'll have to find it somewhere.
Let's see if we took any notes at all that are any worth of mentioning.
But yeah, there are no. There's very little CG in this movie. Obviously, there is some that's necessary.
It was also very well done.
Like some of the few moments of green screen is when they're standing against the matte paintings.
Yeah.
That is green screen.
That's what they used? Okay.
Yes.
I imagined.
Cool.
And then when Peter is first flying over Neverland and he's kind of just spinning around, that's a blue screen. But other than that, all the times you see Peter flying, it's all
And
real.
interacting with
No,
Tink.
no.
I love
There's
Tink
also
in
at the end when he's flying the kids off the pirate ship. That's pretty.
That's
clear.
also
Yes.
that's also
Perfect.
green screen.
I liked Tink in the little dollhouse. That was
Yeah,
really well
yeah.
done.
Those are all just gigantic sets.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
figured.
They're
but
all
the way
like-
they contrasted it with Robin actually being in the scene
Yeah,
with her.
composited it really well.
Really well done.
Yeah.
Every
For
time you see
1991.
every time you see Tink, that is an oversized set.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So
Yeah.
As much as I dislike Julia Roberts, she made a good Tinkerbell, but the character was just weak in
No,
general.
she was. I disagree. I thought she
I disagree
did
too.
a very bad job. I thought like most of what she said felt very rushed. Like they wanted her to
Yeah.
have like a fairy
Well, I
type.
think that was
quick
more
way of
direction than it
speaking.
was her choice.
Yeah, I know, but it read that way. It read that she didn't want to do it. That they were
Yeah.
like, be quick and fun, and she was like, I'll be quick but not fun, or I
Yeah.
can be fun and not
her
quick.
role was very, very
Yeah.
serious. And what
Julia Roberts is
Is-
my one gripe with this movie.
is her original? Is her natural voice does it have like a southern?
Yes,
Winged
like
to it.
that's.
Why
it's-
didn't she get rid of that for this movie?
Well, that's the thing. She in
was
her
weird.
own
Nobody
words.
does British, which is weird.
In her
Yeah.
own words, she said, "No one can tell you that a fairy wouldn't do that because fairies aren't real. So I could like play this character however I wanted."
Yeah.
Julia Roberts' nickname on set was Tinkerhell.
Yeah.
She was going through a divorce at the time.
Oh my
And-
god.
Things were not great. Oh well, I don't know who that is, but I'll call
Bye
that.
bye.
She seemed to be phoning it in for sure.
Yeah.
I thought, especially that opening scene where it's a long scene with like her and Peter, and she comes in the window and she's trying to get him to come back to Neverland, and she knows who he is, and she just really did not seem to. I didn't think,
Care
yeah,
at all.
she cared at all. It was just like super. She was just saying everything almost like she was just like, I have to deliver these lines, and here's how I'm gonna deliver them. I'm gonna deliver them as fast as I can, and it had very little. And I was like, this scene should be really fun between like a confused Peter Pan and Tinkerbell trying to get him
But
back.
I think
and
Robin
instead it's
Williams
very
helped
boring.
still get the
Yeah.
scene there.
I think he made it
Definitely.
watchable, but
I will
it was
go-
still
I guess
not as
Tinkerbell,
fun.
the take that she had was way too serious.
I will
and-
go easier on Julia Roberts
Yeah.
than you are, but I do admit that she is she never took me out of the movie.
Yeah.
But whenever she was on screen, I wished that I was looking at someone else. And also her takes are very long.
Yeah.
And that's actually partially because of her.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts wanted as much screen time as possible. She also asked,
because she was a bigger name at the time too.
well, she also asked to be bigger on the poster and everything.
Yeah.
And that I'm pretty sure that goddamn Tinkerbell is huge scene.
That was fucking weird.
Okay. Now I know when you have a favorite movie of all time, you shouldn't have a scene that you fucking hate.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate that scene with huge Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how that happened. I think I had zoned out.
Because this is the biggest thought I've ever had, and this is
because
biggest...
she wants to, her biggest wish is to turn normal size, presumably so she can have sex with Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And also she turns into her fancy dress again.
Yeah, it's
which I
basically what she says is I've wished so hard to be human size so we can do it. And Peter's like, I have a wife. And what's also weird about the scene is they set it up that it's
everything.
He can't, for 30 seconds, he can fly again. And he's Peter Pan. And then for the opening of that scene, suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, now, before he had forgotten how to be Peter Pan, and now he's forgotten at all about his kids.
Family and
for
his kids,
20 seconds of flying, he's forgot his entire family and his kids.
Well, the reason he was flying was because of his son, though.
Yeah, but now, he flies because of his son, and then he lands, and he can't even remember his happy thought. And then he's like, I'm going to be a lost boy forever and play with you guys. And then she's like, no, Peter, I want to have sex with you. And he's like, no, I have a wife. And it all happens in 5 minutes of screen time. And I'm just whipping back and forth. What is going on?
I did get a little whiplash.
And they also,
from this.
and then even before she says that, there's a whole thing where she reminds him that she brought him into Neverland as a baby.
And
so presumably she
mother.
raised him basically like a mother until Wendy came along. And now she's like, I raised you.
And see how that works with Wendy as the mother too. Peter has a thing for mothers.
There's a major Oedipal complex in Peter. Or in everybody. Everybody wants to bang their moms or their sons in this movie.
We'll actually get to that. That goes a bit into the Peter Pan lore.
Major question I didn't understand. So Tinkerbell brought Peter to Neverland when he was a child.
I think I know where this is going.
How did he grow up?
Okay, so they skip over a big part in this.
Okay.
When Peter runs away, he doesn't go directly to Neverland. He actually spends his time in Kensington Gardens, which is a real place in England.
I've been there.
That's actually where that Peter Pan statue is. That's a real statue.
I've seen that statue!
See, there you go.
Oh, oh my god, that's right. Okay.
So Peter lives a long time.
Major woo moment.
Peter lives a long time among the fairies, where he actually learns how to fly and everything. It goes into how all humans are actually part bird, that you just forget about it, so all humans can fly. I know, it's weird. There's a whole other book, Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. Your Peter Pan expert is on the case. So anyways, that's where he actually grows up to the age that he is.
Okay.
Then, after he realizes that, this isn't ever going to happen again, then he goes to Neverland and chooses never to grow up.
Okay. There we go. That's cleared for me. I understand.
What about the other people that fall out of their crib and become Lost Boys? Do they also have a gestation period in Kensington Gardens?
I believe that they
That I believe is the correct term.
I believe, yes, they do.
They do.
But they also don't always fall out as babies. These can just be children that get lost as well.
Okay.
Got it.
But it's only ever boys.
But yeah, in this movie they also in this movie it does seem
fairies.
like the Lost Boys actually have the same immortality that everyone else does. In the original novel, it's only Peter that possesses that magic.
Okay.
So people in Neverland are actually aging, albeit maybe a little bit slower.
Got it.
And then when they get too old, Peter kills them.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
But not in this version. Well, maybe in this version. I don't know.
All right. So
I feel like I'd like the OG Peter Pan.
That's what I want.
Very faithful source material. Can we open on Peter killing a too old Lost Boy?
Yes.
That's the cold open.
Yes.
It's like a Lost Boy kill ceremony, and then boom, cut to black, Peter Pan, and then we bounce back.
That's actually not how.
That's why I work
That's
with
not
these
how
two.
he actually does it. I mean, yes, we could obviously do that in our
can
version.
we make it a ceremony?
But in the original Peter Pan,
yeah.
all of this stuff, just like the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
In the original Peter Pan, it's all one giant game to them.
Sure.
Like just fighting the pirates and everything.
Well, to die would be a great adventure.
Yeah.
Like he says.
Sometimes it gets a little too real.
Yeah.
But sometimes in those fights, Peter will decide, hey, I'm going to pretend to be a pirate now. I'm a pirate, guys. And then that's when he gets the excuse to start killing off the Lost Boys.
Dude. All right, well, that's going into the ceremony. He has to, like, put on, like,
Yeah.
a pirate costume, and they're all got torches. And he's like, to die would be a great adventure. And then the Lost Boys echo, to die would be a great adventure. And then he goes, bang-a-rang. And then the kid who's on his knees, who's a little too old, goes, bang-a-rang. And then, shoo, and then Peter Pan.
Yeah, this is it.
Copyrighted.
You guys can't take that.
Steal it.
All we have to do is get the rights from Great Ormond Street, the hospital on Great
Perfect.
Ormond Street. Like the hospital that
Yeah.
they have in this movie, that is
It's
the actual
true. I know that
hospital
story.
that owns the rights to
Oh,
Peter Pan.
wow.
Yeah.
When
J.M.
J.M. Barrie, he gave the rights to the
I
hospital on
know
Great
nothing.
Ormond Street. So if you want to make a Peter Pan adaptation, you just have to get permission from
So
Great Ormond
presumably
Street.
a children's hospital will not grant me the rights to a film in
think
which
they-
the opening
Do
scene
you
is
have
children
to?
dying.
I think Once Upon a Time got a little dark, and
Yeah.
they granted it to them.
All right.
We'll
And the
figure this out.
2003 version of Peter Pan, also it's only a PG movie, but it kind of touches on the darkness.
yeah.
I want to
There's
watch that
another
one with
one?
you guys. 2003 Peter Pan, truest to the source material by far.
I don't know.
Also has a great performance by Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, I do like that movie. That is a
Um,
pretty good one.
It gets a little corny, a little cheesy, but I mean, so does every Peter Pan movie. But
Yeah.
it has a lot of good moments.
The trailer
in it.
introduced me to Clocks by Coldplay. Very
Nice.
good. The trailer had very good use of the song Clocks by Coldplay.
All right.
Epic. This is a little funny thing. When they're
Just
giving
along for this ride, man.
when
All
they're
right.
giving Wendy her the model of where her part of the hospital is at.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
when they rolled
Yeah,
that
yeah,
model
yeah,
out?
yeah.
When I was a kid, I had no idea what that was.
I
And
think
I'm
it was
like,
a cake.
no, I thought that they gave her a printer or something. Like, did they give her a print? Like, my mom runs a printing store,
Yeah,
so a printer, that's
yeah,
special
yeah.
stuff for
I
me.
do have a note about that scene. That was, the 4 or 5 times I did cry during this movie because that's what I do.
I'm happy.
That was the first scene that I cried during the speech when everybody
I
started
know.
standing up.
The
I didn't even realize I was crying until I kind of came to after that scene was over, and I'm like, oh shit, my cheek is all wet.
The more I watch this movie, which is a lot, the more I touch on some really emotional factors of this
Yeah.
movie. There are some gut-punching moments or
are.
gut-punching things that are being insinuated, as well as making out with your grandmother, I guess.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Um,
His speech was great. I like to think that maybe Robin Williams, I think...
Oh, the lawyers? Yeah.
That is one of my
Lawyer
favorite jokes
banter
ever.
is
So I will
very
repeat
good.
it for you guys here in case
Since
you
of
can't
course
remember.
he knows it.
I've read recently that they're now using lawyers instead of rats for scientific experiments. They do this for 2 reasons. One, the scientists become less attached to the lawyers. And 2, there are certain things even rats won't do. And that's just a great
It's
joke.
It's just a quality 1991 middle of the road. Like, you're like, somebody would say this at like a
Yeah,
meeting.
a
I'd
banquet.
say it.
Yeah, at a
That's
banquet.
still plenty relevant.
It was beautiful.
And he is a lawyer, so he probably, you assume he opened the speech with like, I'm a lawyer, so let's get these jokes out of the way.
Yeah.
And he's
And
like,
then-
I beg your pardon because normally I'm used to addressing shareholders.
Yeah.
It was a good moment, and then it
It
gets
does
a little
the best
emotional.
to establish him as, like, that does a better job to establish him as like a boring businessman,
Than
right? Telling
any
boring
of
lawyer
the
jokes.
opening parts
Yeah, then,
at
like,
the actual
the
office.
weird thing where he's doing the cell phone draw.
Yeah.
Hey, you shut up. That's amazing.
Like that's like a businessman culture. I can't.
Yeah, the beginning
I
of
don't
this
have
movie
a
was
touch.
a little confusing.
Yeah.
I didn't understand if he knew he was Peter Pan still, what his relationship with his family was, what his
Guess
job
what?
was
No, he does
exactly.
not.
But him telling
didn't-
really stiff lawyer jokes at a banquet in a tuxedo,
Perfect.
you're like, I know who this person
We
is.
should just start the movie there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I don't. Speaking of like them, it's a long movie, but they still feel the need to like hit some things really hard, like the son at the play, which like made my eyes roll when he is holding a baseball. Like, I don't care how much you love baseball, who just carries a baseball and glove with them just everywhere.
I mean, I carried like my Woody and Buzz around everywhere.
They
when I was
stuck
a
to
kid.
it though.
Yeah.
They did stick to it though.
baseball
He
thing?
did carry that mitt and bow everywhere
And then,
that he went.
Did he wear, or is this part of the magic of Neverland, his baseball shirt and cap to bed that night? Because
Yes.
that's what he was wearing in Neverland.
Which is gross. Do not let your kid wear the thing.
I don't
they
think that was
sweat
his
in the
actual
baseball.
jersey. I think that was
Okay,
just
it's a
a
different
jersey.
Yeah, but he also had his cap.
Well, yes.
It was just.
It did feel
I
it.
noticed.
It did feel it a lot at times.
Maybe
like,
Peter or Hook
this
grabbed
was-
the cap as he
This
went.
was us trying
Bless
to
you.
take Peter Pan away from British people.
Mm-hmm.
Like we as Americans colonized Peter Pan because nobody was British. I mean, they made Peter Pan American,
Maggie
and then
Smith
they
was
made
British.
yeah, just
Moira
So
was
is-
British.
yeah,
What's
but
her
Moira
name? Okay.
didn't have an accent.
Moira?
Yes.
I heard Myra, Mara, and
Moira.
Moira.
And I named my car after this character.
Yeah.
Moira.
But
Wendy
like-
Moira Angela Frower is my Honda Fit's name.
Peter Pan lives in America. His son is obsessed with baseball.
Yes, well they...
Well, he even
like-
makes a joke about the American lawyers or the
Yeah,
American,
the American police.
policemen.
Maybe we should
Yeah,
call
maybe
the
we'll get
American police.
I was like, all right, tone it down. We won. We won the revolution. We don't need to win it again.
Yeah,
let,
but-
let Peter
But
Pan stay
British
British.
people are so much more eloquent than we are.
Yeah.
I mean, Maggie Smith, her in that little the ball gown, which also made me very sad when she asks Peter, like, "How do I look, Peter?" And he just
Great,
runs
Grin.
away.
You look great,
Yeah.
Grin.
Aw.
By the way, guys, I will remember every quote from this movie. I can recite this entire movie from the music cues
Yeah, yeah.
all the way to the
I
end.
believe, let's talk about the music.
Let's talk about the
'Cause
music.
Well,
Because Emma wants to
yeah.
see a fight.
I mean, I don't really know what to say. So,
Place your bets, ladies and
so
gentlemen.
we'll preface this. I realized pretty quickly it was a John Williams score because it sounds like John Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I said, Tris is
It
John
has
Williams.
a similar feel to all of
And
his
Tristan
movies.
said it is. In fact, this is John Williams'
Whimsical.
best score. Now, if
In
you,
my opinion,
no, that's not what you said in there. You were like, objectively, it's his best score. And if you guys don't know movies, John Williams has done E.T., Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Jaws, like pretty much every Indiana Jones, right? Every famous score that's not Lord of the Rings is John Williams.
I've seen him
But-
live.
and-
It's magical.
what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, twice.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, Emma.
What did you see?
Sorry.
You just performed his like discography, or did you do a certain movie?
No, so the first time saw him was in concert in Orlando.
Okay.
It was just a traveling concert he was doing, and then at Carrie Fisher's memorial at the 4th Star Wars convention, I think.
Okay.
The second one that took place in the United States.
Yeah.
They came out and played
Yeah.
a bunch of the score. I cried.
You are so lucky. Fuck you. You bitch.
I also snuck into that whole memorial thing. Got like a Sith.
Damn it. Well, you know what? I've been to his house, so whatever.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool. We have
I actually-
relations to John Williams.
I did go to John Williams' house.
And
He
John-
wasn't there, but
And I was gonna say, and did you ask John Williams if he thought Hook was his favorite score? And he was like, "No, what? I've done like
But it
100
was-
movies better than Hook."
okay, will you at least
very
take this from
beautiful.
me? That score is at least underrated.
This one.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
no, I
okay.
definitely do.
You-
Maybe because
I mean,
the movie isn't
all-
as popular, but it was a beautiful
All
score.
John Williams scores are better than like non-John Williams scores.
That's
right?
true.
Like so, yeah. Like, you know, compared to most scores, it's a very good
Yeah.
score. But like in terms of like what he's capable of, now I think that
just-
he had difficult source material. You know, Star Wars provides a lot more, I think,
Yeah.
than Hook does in terms of like, you
But
know,
he
when
did
you
a
think
lot
about
with
music.
this film. I
But
think the whole...
he did a good job for, because he always does a good
Yeah,
job.
a
It's
lot
Then
of
again,
his
Star Wars would have
aspects-
sucked without John Williams'
A lot of
music.
the
Yeah.
aspects of this film just seem to fly under the radar, though.
Ha.
Like I really do think that.
Lie.
Oh, shut up. Like the set design and the score and even some of the performances.
Yeah, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned,
yeah.
even if like on its surface,
Yeah.
like if you just take the story, the script as a whole,
Yeah.
even if on its surface this movie doesn't work for you, there's just so many other things to love about it.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
I don't want to get.
Amazing.
I don't want to get to Dustin Hoffman yet because I have
Okay,
a lot to
'cause
say about
I'm-
Dustin
I-
Hoffman.
here's the thing, and I have this gripe about I have a pretty big not quite Zack Snyder level, but I have kind of a gripe with Christopher Nolan and a lot of his newer stuff. Like I really didn't like Interstellar, and I really didn't like Inception, and I was like, oh, he's really lost a step. And then I went and saw Dunkirk, which is a good movie, and I enjoyed
I
Dunkirk.
haven't seen that yet.
But like, anybody could make a movie as good as Dunkirk with the resources in which Christopher Nolan was given. And they were like, oh, it's so beautiful. And
including
it's like,
Harry Styles.
But he bought a plane, like one of like 4 Spitfire planes in existence, and then sunk it into the ocean. And it's like, yeah, if I could buy a Spitfire plane and sink it, then that scene would look really good because I just bought a real plane and sunk it into the ocean.
Yeah. And with
and
film.
So like, and that's in some ways the way I feel about Hook, is that like of all its great elements, its performances and its set design, and like the set design, which is cool because it goes into a studio and everything's built in a studio. The lighting is incredible in this because they can't rely on natural light, so instead they have to
they deal with every single season.
They have to light
apparently.
it, and they light it
summer,
so
winter,
well.
spring, and fall, all at the same
But it's
time.
like if you give probably a lot of people the budget of Hook, they would come out with something at least as good, if not better, because you can hire the best actors in the world. Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams. Both incredible actors.
I gotta give credit to Spielberg's direction on this.
I mean, Spielberg even too, Spielberg's a great director,
But this is a movie that was made for Spielberg.
Yeah, I mean, Spielberg at the time, for sure. But that the producers, when they called Spielberg, they told him what the budget was, and he was like, yeah,
sure,
great. It's like you get the best director, the best actors,
all the elements, but the actual story
set you can make.
He actually turned this down at first.
I'm sure, because he probably read the script.
No,
and then they were
He actually... They originally brought him on to remake the original Peter Pan.
Sure.
And then when he read the script, the new one about a grown-up Peter Pan, he said, I want to do this project. This actually all began when a 3-year-old or a 6-year-old named Jake, believe it or not, was talking to his dad, and he drew a drawing, and they asked him, what did you draw? And he's like, oh, this is Captain Hook, and he's being eaten by the crocodile, but the crocodile doesn't get him. He got away. And then the screenwriters hears this like, oh my god, Hook didn't die, the crocodile did. We've all been fooled. And then later on, that same boy actually asked his dad, did Peter Pan ever grow up? And James V. Hart, the screenwriter, said, no, absolutely not. And the boy said, well, what if he did? And then, bam, instant inspiration, and now we have
So
Hook.
they should have credited the kid.
Yeah, he is credited in the documentary.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is a great documentary. And this movie went through a lot of changes, because originally it was also going to be a musical with Michael Jackson starring as Peter Pan.
I actually heard about that.
I feel like I've heard about that.
Yeah.
But he actually, once he found out that Peter Pan was an adult and not a kid, he said, I'm not interested anymore.
Of course. Even if he had the opportunity to work with many underage boys. He blew off the opportunity.
I don't know where I land on the whole Michael Jackson thing.
I don't land anywhere in particular either. I'm just
I don't know enough about that subject to make it to form an opinion.
Taking advantage of it.
Yeah, he did it.
Like he did.
He did it.
But some of that music did make it into the original film.
Yeah.
Okay. We Don't Want to Grow Up from the play, which had a much higher budget than any of my school plays ever had.
Oh, sure.
I love how they start this off with such a low budget look, and then they blow it into this huge, biggest set in history type deal. And then the song that little Maggie sings, When You're All Alone, that actually was nominated for an Oscar, and she performed it at that year's Oscars.
That's sweet.
And on another note, Jack and Maggie Banning formed the author's original name, J.M. Barrie.
I figured, I was like, these names sound like hand-picked. I was like, I don't know why I feel like Jack and Maggie seem like so fitting, or like...
I do.
But I thought those names were good, and I knew they were referencing something that I just wasn't smart enough to pick up on.
I was smart enough to pick up on it.
Also, the little boy Jack, even though you said this was the only movie he did, he also did Can't Hardly Wait, which is a great comedy.
And then he grew up to become a lawyer.
Yeah.
Just like his
dad in the movie.
Like his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, God. We had a lot of fun bantering about Peter's adult career as a lawyer and how it reflected in his life in Neverland, aka making out with the mermaids underwater and forgetting about his children, forgetting that he had a wife.
Yeah.
He was quite the businessman.
Quite the businessman.
That was his...
And then his phone call way at the end. Sorry, man, I ran out of fairy dust. I gotta climb a drain pipe. It's like, oh.
Oh my God.
Peter's blasted again.
That whole... Yeah. I was like, well...
Never hit me. And also the other thing that you mentioned, on Nana's doghouse, it says Nana 9.
Implying that 8 Nanas have died.
In the span of how many years, though? How old is Wendy?
I mean, still, but it's like...
Peter Pan takes place in 1913.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why she's the great grandma.
So the dogs have passed every, 10 years or so?
Yeah,
That's pretty sad for a dog,
Well, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I've never had one,
Wendy's doing
but
a great job of taking care of children, but not a great job of taking care of dogs.
Well, in Disney's sequel, Return to Neverland, there is another dog, and that dog's name is Nana 2. So
Yeah.
this
Nana 2.
joke has been going on for...
Yeah, that's canon now.
It's pretty
That-
funny.
that the Darling
Huh.
family just continues
Yeah.
calling their dogs Nana.
But in the original novel, Tinkerbell also dies. So
Good.
True.
yeah.
Good.
And then Peter forgets about her as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sad.
Peter forgetting is it's actually it's a huge part of his character. When Wendy is returning to Neverland and a few times in the novel, she's like, "Don't you remember Captain Hook? Don't you remember how you saved all of our lives and killed him?" And he's like, "I forget them all after I kill him."
Early onset Alzheimer's is not a joke.
Except we're currently laughing at it, so take that however you will.
It's not a joke to all of you guys. Speaking of that final scene, though, I mean, not really, kind of
With
final.
Marble Man?
Yes.
Toodles.
Yeah. So,
Toodles?
but really,
Toodles.
just in general, from like Peter waking up in the park, that was a major gripe that I had. Is that like they do this like almost like fake out where like
Ugh,
Peter's
it was-
in the
yeah.
park when there's beer bottles around him, and Shmee's the janitor, and it's like, okay, I just saw the children fly in the
Yeah.
window, so I know
Is
that
this
this is
real
real.
now?
And he's
like,
carrying
that
the
was-
marbles. They're very
Yeah, and he's
clearly
definitely
seen.
Yeah.
carrying the marbles, and it's like, what is the point of this scene?
I don't know.
Like,
It's another little reference.
But why
when
was
adults
Smee
leave
there?
Netherman,
Netherman. The world's worst superhero.
Yeah, when they leave,
Neverman.
do they wake up in that park with beer bottles surrounding them? Like, is that canon for adults? Every pirate who escapes Neverland ends up in that park, and
No, the only
Drunk?
pirate to ever leave Neverland and start another life is Smee.
right.
Okay, so maybe
But
that
so
was
the
Smee.
Smee reference I get, but like, why is he back in his suit, huddled in the snow with liquor all over him?
How did he
don't know.
come into his Peter
Yeah.
Pan costume after flying away in this? I
yeah,
don't know.
That was a
Suspend the
very
disbelief.
dumb scene that didn't make sense, and he should have flown in the window after his kids
There
and still
are
been
a
in his
lot of
costume.
plot holes.
And Wendy should have seen him in his costume, and they should have made out in front of his wife. And that's the ending.
You
of
had
this
me for a
movie
moment
deserved.
there. You still might have me.
I
don't know.
did like his going into the doghouse and digging up the phone and
Yeah, I mean that was like
It was a
fun-
very
but,
Robin
like,
Williams
Because he's now
moment.
out of the doghouse.
Oh God.
what?
Again, a Peter Pan
No,
reference.
he needed to. Yeah,
Too many.
he needed to come in the costume for everybody to see, knowing he's Peter Pan, and he could still fly down, grab the phone, have the same conversation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the Peter Pan costume, have him be
You know,
Peter
there
Pan.
was a lot of
Don't
point-
have him like
scenes
half
that
forget then
seemed-
half
seemed
Alex
like
just
right.
likes seeing Robin Williams in the Peter
That-
Pan costume.
I have a weird
I-
sentence. There are a lot of scenes
Yeah.
that seemed seemingly pointless.
Yeah,
That was
it did.
great.
It did seem-
Very
Thank
good.
Yeah, it seemed
Yeah.
That's for
seemingly
you actors
pointless.
now. That is yours to
Yeah.
keep as
Yeah,
a
yeah,
vocal
there's-
Seemingly
exercise.
pointless.
There's your warm up, guys.
I have a good one. A proper cup of coffee in a copper coffee cup.
Oof.
That's the hard one.
This isn't time for vocal practice, Emma. Jesus.
Maybe it'll help
Yeah.
somebody.
Jesus. We're
Speaking-
talking about Hook. God
Speaking
damn it.
of Peter Pan and scenes that didn't make any sense,
That's why we're here.
was how much he flip flopped and whether or not he wanted to kill Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Because he went, I'm ready to fight, and then he goes to rescue his daughter, and then he
we're
comes back
leaving.
ready to fight, and then Rufio dies, which is super glanced over, and I'll get to that
Yes!
later. And then yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Sorry,
we'll
I
get to
There goes
that.
definitely
peeking.
peeked
Yeah,
it.
and then he's not gonna fight, and then he's gonna fight, and then he's not gonna fight, and I was like, dude.
Kill him or don't.
We are flipping back and forth every 30 seconds. And presumably, maybe that's the thing, is that Peter Pan keeps forgetting that he wants to kill Captain Hook, and then he wants to kill him again, and then
Well, he doesn't want to kill Captain
Yeah,
Hook
or whatever.
in the original.
But yeah, he just,
At the end, he does.
It's like the million endings that we had during Scream.
yeah, it's
We kept
it's
going
like,
back and forth between the
it's
killer
like
being dead
we're
and
doing the
not.
same thing where he like gets him on his back leg, and then he goes, I'm not going to kill you, Hook. And then Hook's like, well, you should. And he's like, okay, I will. No,
No, I'm not gonna do
I
it.
won't.
And then I
Okay,
will.
yeah.
Well, every time it's
Daddy,
because of his
don't kill
children. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, he's about to fight Hook, but then his son is
His
like,
daughter.
let's go home. And
Well,
at that point, I
first
mean,
the
if I was
daughter.
a dad, I'm like, well, you know what? I probably shouldn't risk getting into this deadly pirate
did
that could kill me.
appreciate
Because
that.
all
Let's
he has
just
to
go.
do is like stab and then
Yeah.
go.
They're
Like,
both too honorable to do
close
that,
your
though.
eyes, kids. No, he won the fight.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about later on.
Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
he says, "Dad, come home." After he's already won, he's like, "Dad, let's just go." And
No,
he's
he
like,
he did that before they fight too. As he's taking
Yeah.
off the costume and everything, he's like, "Dad, I want to go home."
Yeah.
And then Peter
No.
decides to go.
There's the other fight.
There's
know.
too many.
There's two
There's
fights,
lots of
and
them.
he gets him to almost dead twice.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
believe the kid says, "Dad, let's go," twice. No, the
The
first
little
time
girl
he's about
says
to
it.
fight, and the little girl pulls him away. He's like, "Dad, help!" And he goes away to get the daughter.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then Rufio dies. He comes back and he's ready
And
to
the
fight him
son
again.
says
And the
it.
says, "No, let's go." Presumably just staring at Rufio's corpse.
Bleeding out.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Okay," and then they're walking down, and then Hook's like, "I'll follow you forever," and he's like, "You're right, I'll fight
We'll
you."
fight.
And then he gets
Yeah,
him in the
let's
end.
not forget that Hook threatens a sequel, and that's what gets Peter back into
then he
the thing.
turns the sword around.
and then he wins, and then the son goes, "No, seriously, Dad, let's go
No,
now."
the daughter says that at the end.
Whatever.
They
Right when they're by
both
the
do.
crocodile.
Yeah,
They both do. She's like, "Daddy, let's go
Okay.
home,
Yeah,
please. He's just
yeah.
a mean old man without a mommy.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Dad, let's go home.
She really
he can't
hammers
hurt us
the mom.
anymore."
Just a mean
all
old dad
that
without a
girl
mom.
thinks about. She says he doesn't have a mom twice. And like at one
More
point
than
it's like,
twice.
Yeah, it's
He's-
like
she's gotta say
we
more
got
than
it,
twice.
kid. We got that Captain Hook is. It gives a bad name for single fathers. I don't
I
appreciate
always
that.
think secretly maybe Hook wanted to father Peter Pan.
I don't think he wanted
No.
to father him.
I don't know.
I think he just
maybe
needs Peter Pan in
deeply
his life.
internally.
It's-
Exactly.
he's the Joker, you know.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
go round
He's
and
nothing
round
without
forever.
the
Yeah.
Batman.
He'd rather die.
Yeah, these two,
But
they kind of need each other.
I didn't like the back and forth. I really didn't like the back and forth. with
At
the
least
Hook
they were
Peter Pan
consistent
stuff.
with the fact that it's the kid that stops him every time. That part was consistent.
I guess, but then like random things keep bringing him back, and at one point, if you're the kids, it's like just let him kill Captain Hook. Like this is the man who took you hostage. I would let my dad kill.
You killed
Captain
Rufio, you
Hook.
kidnapped my children, you
Especially,
deserve
like,
to die.
And presumably they know other Captain Hook backstories because the Peter Pan mythology
What?
exists.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Like I've grown up my whole life
Pride.
knowing that Captain Hook is a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I've lived in a world with the Peter Pan stories.
Mm-hmm.
Just like these kids have grown up forever knowing that Captain Hook was a bad guy.
Yeah,
And
they
then
knew this story.
Personally are kidnapped by Captain Hook and they're like, "Dad, don't kill Captain Hook. Let your dad kill Captain Hook." Like, come on.
He's a pretty bad
You-
guy.
I would kill if I were Jack, I'd be like, "This is taking too long.
Give me the sword,
yeah,
Dad.
I'll finish it. You want me to stab Captain Hook? I'll stab Captain
He
Hook."
should have just
Like,
manipulated Captain Hook
Yeah.
right back, like,
Yeah.
Daddy.
and then betrayed him. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But that would be
Yes.
bad. That would be bad form.
If he said, "Yeah, you're right. That's bad form, and that's not okay."
And he was all about the form.
Yeah,
So
but that's how Jack becomes the new Captain Hook.
Captain Hook is always about good form.
Peter Pan has to fight his own son, who's now Captain Hook Jr.
Yeah.
Oh God,
All right.
guys
Hook
are the
two.
worst. Never.
Maybe.
No.
Okay.
All right, on to Rufio, whose death is give the man a funeral. How can we end happy
Jesus.
when Rufio's
Even though he was a fucking asshole. I mean, I get it. You've
Because
been
they're
running the
children
Lost
and they're
Boys for a
heartless. They
long
don't give a
time.
shit.
children,
Oh.
somebody
Don't
should
care.
care. Then Peter should care.
Yeah.
He cares a little
Somebody
bit.
To
should
have
care.
that one
I mean,
moment.
like they literally just leave Rufio's corpse on the boat and then begin cheering. Not 30 seconds later, and
Yeah.
then they're like, "No, let's keep fighting Captain Hook forever."
Well, maybe
It's
they
like,
didn't even know Rufio was dead.
Captain Hook.
They weren't
Where
there.
did they
No, they
watch
watched
it?
They watched it.
Yeah.
Captain Hook has killed not only Rufio but presumably hundreds of your friends.
Yes.
And you're just like, he's Captain Hook. That's what we do. He kills us. We kill him.
That's
You know?
exactly their mindset, though.
I guess so.
That is
Where if
100%
we're thinking
their
about how
mindset.
dark they get in the novel.
This is,
then-
again, all a game to them. That's that's the last words they have to him as he leaves. That was a great game.
Ugh.
dark.
Dark.
Yeah.
It is pretty dark.
But like, I would like to see if you're really gonna do adult Peter Pan, and when he comes back and he's both adult and a kid, adult Peter Pan's side should come back with the
With
body
guns.
of Rufio. No. He should bring
Guns.
Rufio's body back to London and give him a ceremony. Instead of ending on an old man creepily flying away, it should end on like the funeral of Rufio. He deserved better.
I don't think so.
No, Rufio deserved. Look, Rufio has to grow up after Peter leaves. Peter
Yeah.
leaves Rufio in an unwinnable
Was he
situation.
in the original movie or
No,
something?
no, but
he's
he
an
leaves
original.
Rufio, and Rufio has to essentially grow up. That's why he never smiles.
That's
That's
what
why
I
he
was
can't
saying,
fly.
like,
He's
Rufio-
just
That was a good epiphany that we had during the movie.
Yeah.
We
can't fly. We came up with it. I came up with it.
give the
I
man
think
some
of us
credit.
as a collective.
Yeah.
My bad.
Sure,
No,
it's a
we're
collective.
not.
It's fine.
I'm carrying the team
We are
by
collective.
myself.
I said he's never happy.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to you.
And then
carrying the
you
team by
said
yourself.
that's
No,
why
yeah,
he can't
yeah, you're
fly.
right. That's true.
So
yeah.
it was a collective
Yeah, it
thought.
was a collective thought,
No.
and that Rufio can't fly because
I wasn't
he's-
serious about that. By the
I know,
way.
because
you carry
I know,
the
I
team.
know. Thank you. But anyway, he has to, and that's the thing. You know, that's a story. That's an arc. I think Rufio is, to me, the most sympathetic character because unlike Peter, who can only apparently ever be Peter, what is it, Peter Banning or Peter Pan at one time, Rufio can be both an adult and a kid, and therefore is to me the most sympathetic character. And then he dies to zero fanfare, and I think it's just kind of gross.
If it makes you feel any better, Dante Bosco went on to have one of the greatest character arcs in history.
No, which I do. I love Zuko. It's my favorite character in Avatar.
True.
By like a strong margin. I think I would relax on the greatest character arc in all of history because like his character
I said
arc.
one of.
Yeah, but like it's not. It's like a very known fantasy trope. I think like that kind of like tortured.
But it's more about how they did it.
I mean, it's very well done, but I don't think it's anything new.
The
or,
animation
like,
that they had that goes along with it. There was a lot that they
it's
put
a-
into thought whenever
mean,
Zuko
don't
was.
get me
I don't
wrong.
watch
We're
that
getting
show.
off. We're getting off topic.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't watch
but
this.
No,
I can't.
I don't know.
Loser.
In this
Strong words,
movie,
Tristan.
he
I'll
is
watch Avatar.
You should watch it. In this movie, Rufio's character I think is treated with not enough respect for what he gave to the Lost Boys and to really all of Neverland. And they write him off because Peter Pan's flying again.
Yeah, but it's Peter Pan.
You're not gonna go the guy who, you know, kept you together as a Lost Boy team for what?
They don't care.
60
They don't.
years?
They don't care.
They don't care.
Peter should care then. That's what I'm saying. Peter and
Yeah.
Peter's children, who are real
I
people,
think he's a
should
bit
care.
distracted by the fact that he
You're
can
right.
fly all of a sudden.
The Lost Boys don't have to care, but Peter should care.
He's got priorities. He's got his children to worry about at
He
this
goes
point.
back to his
And-
inner
but
self, his inner child,
but he
though.
goes to give. He passes his torch, which
Yeah.
presumably he
Right.
didn't do the first time. He left it, you know. And if at this point he realizes, when I was a kid, I left the Lost Boys in such a state of flux by just randomly abandoning them that they, you know, kind of fell into this, you know, almost disarray. They fell into, you know, Rufio had to become what Rufio is because I left them in chaos. So this time when I'm going to leave, I'm going to, you know,
Leave
choose my
somebody.
leader, leave them with somebody, leave them with a plan and a goal. And
And
so,
make a fat joke
so
at
if
the
you
same
could,
time.
yeah, and make a fat joke, which, because that's all they did to that one
That's
kid,
not all they did with
is
that
they
one
made
guy.
like a ton of fat jokes, and he makes like one
It was
last
quite a lot.
fat joke on the way out, which is also bad, but
It
whatever.
wasn't a fat joke.
They need someone bigger than
Yeah,
them
no,
to look after.
no. It said
look
you
towards.
have to lead everyone smaller than you, saying like you need to leave everyone because no one is bigger
you
than
are the
him
largest
because
child.
he's the fattest kid. It's crazy.
It
But
was he was emotionally speaking.
whatever.
Sure.
And so he leaves the sword, but if Peter recognizes that you know he left them in that state of disarray before, he should realize what his leaving, his careless decision as a child did to Rufio, and although he can't, you know, do any better, he should give Rufio the respect that he deserved as really the true Pan.
And give him a Viking
And give him a
funeral.
Viking funeral in Neverland, even if possible. Even if it's to teach the kids, okay, I'm going to leave you now, but when one of you dies,
I need
know,
you to honor them.
honor them. You know, I'm going to teach you to honor
Yeah.
Rufio
Right.
as a final moment, his final gift to the Lost Boys. You know, to say stop forgetting.
That would have been nice.
So instead of the phone quick draw,
Yeah,
they should
yeah,
use that
yeah.
time to give
Use-
Rufio a
use that
funeral.
time from the weird
And Smee taking all the jewelry.
Peter Pan is a businessman
that.
montage with as many winks and nods to him hating
and
flying
all of the lawyers making a flying gesture.
instead
But
of-
it came with one of the like if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. But what if it's the pilot's time
That
to
was
go?
really funny.
Instead of all of that,
Yeah.
have a funeral in Neverland for Rufio.
You should write.
I do. Thank you.
I have good news for you, Emma.
Further proofs.
Before we get too far off from the topic of the sword, I want
Yeah.
to talk about how much I love the design of that sword.
Yeah, it's a cool
That's
sword.
beautiful.
With the golden
I-
blade and everything.
I'm actually
badass.
strongly considering my next tattoo to be one of the swords from Troy. So if I get a Troy sword,
got
will
the
you
sword right
get?
here.
Well, yeah, but get it a tattoo. Will you get? We should all get sword tattoos. I'm gonna get.
I'll
my
get a
Troy
lightsaber.
sword, You
That's
get a
sword.
lightsaber, and you get
The
from
pan
like top
sword.
25, and you get the pan sword.
Yeah, you know what? I could get behind that actually.
I could too.
Boom.
I
Pact
kind of
made.
technically have
Oh,
like
God.
a lightsaber
Look
going.
for it to. Hey, when we get them,
Look
it'll
at-
be up. Pictures of it will be on the official
I
Frower
have a
House
new,
Instagram channel.
A new scar above my clone trooper that
Yeah.
looks like it could be.
Oh yeah, you've shown me that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it could
Em
be
has
a
a clone trooper
blaster
tattoo.
bolt.
So yeah, get a lightsaber, whatever. Decide on a sword. The Frower House team all get sword tattoos
Cool.
on our
like
forearms.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere more discreet for the actor.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Probably not for you. But I'm ready for people to see my tattoos. I have a tattoo of the White Tree of Gondor from Lord of the Rings,
Tat
but
it
it's
up, bro.
up here.
Nice.
So
Full sleeve.
Right. Yeah, I could
hot.
actually get behind this.
yeah.
Do you have a tattoo, Tristan?
No.
Ooh.
Ooh, this is gonna be exciting. Check it out, Frower House Instagram.
I was thinking of getting
Going
one of my
live.
cats though.
We're going live
There
during
you
it.
go. yeah. We'll live stream the tattooing.
Liz and I might do
Hell yes.
matching cat tattoos.
There you go.
Cute. You need a Peter Pan one.
Yeah, I
you
know.
got,
And it
you
needs
got-
to be this
You
sword.
should. You gotta get the hook sword. I'm gonna get the
Mhm.
Troy sword. Emma's gonna
I'll
get a sword.
something Of sorts.
Cool.
Get a sword.
Swords.
It's gotta be a sword. Yeah, swords. All right. Anyway, we're off
A
topic
sword
again.
of sorts.
Well, not too off topic, but anyways, did you guys know that the final version of this script was penned by Carrie Fisher?
I did know that she was very much involved in the scripting of this movie. I didn't
She
know
was.
that it was.
Yeah, she was
Well,
the lead script doctor.
Now
of
I
this
feel a
movie.
little bad shitting on some moments of the script because I do like Carrie Fisher,
What?
but
Mhm.
I mean, I respect her. Doesn't mean she always has to do good.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean,
and she's a good writer. I've read her writing before.
she is a really good
Yeah.
writer.
And going on to that, remember when they're flying to Neverland for the first time? You got the couple that's kissing on the bridge and
Yeah.
then flying.
Yeah.
That is also Carrie Fisher. And who is she making out with? George Lucas.
Oof.
That is George Lucas and Carrie Fisher on that bridge.
Ugh.
hmm
I better know whose idea that was. George. Lucas's.
Wait,
Or Steven
wait,
Spielberg
wait,
doing his buddy
wait,
George's
wait,
solid.
Really?
Yes. That's George Lucas and Carrie Fisher. And then you got Phil Collins, who wrote the music for Tarzan and Brother Bear as the police
detective.
Yeah, I knew
inspector.
that.
Then you have Glenn Close as a pirate.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then you have Jimmy Buffett is also there.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Jimmy Buffett's a pirate. Someone Crosby.
That
Bing Crosby?
I don't think it's Bing Crosby.
Mason Crosby, I think it's the kicker for the Green Bay Packers right now.
No, it's not Bing
I love
Crosby.
the Packers.
Either way, he's start with a D. I don't know.
I don't care. I just
Either
care
way,
that
there are
that
so
George
many,
Lucas
like-
and Carrie Fisher
Yeah.
were made out. What the fuck?
Well, that's probably how she became Princess Leia in the first place.
No.
No.
This has happened
That's
long
just
after.
very Carrie Fisher.
This is like right before... No, not... Yeah, it's pretty close. Like
I'm saying
4
that
or
she-
5 years away. They're
Prequels.
probably writing episode 1 right now
Yeah.
when they're making out on that
She's.
ship.
I was making a. Carrie Fisher always made the
Bridge.
joke that she slept with George Lucas to get the part.
Yeah.
But
might
she
have.
even said it like one of George's big acceptance speeches. For the record, I hope I slept with you to get the part because if I didn't, who the hell was that guy?
God damn it, Carrie Fisher. I miss
She was
you.
a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yes.
that memorial was so beautiful. Harrison
Um,
Ford was even there. And he doesn't go to conventions. I think it's the first convention that he's ever been to.
well, Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford, and he can do as Harrison Ford pleases.
I know. It just
Um,
it was emotional.
The Boo Box. Let's talk a little bit about the Boo Box.
Sure. Boo Boo Box, I believe.
It's just called the Boo Box. When you make a boo boo, you go in the Boo Box.
Okay.
Is
Is that canonical?
No.
I don't
All right,
recall.
that's a
Yeah,
that's
the
a
Boo
hook
Box where they
invention.
put him into the treasure chest and they
And
start
they drop
dropping scorpions
scorpions.
into him.
That was where the fuck was I?
I don't know. That's a pretty standout scene. You don't remember the Boo Box?
Nope.
What the
Maybe I was
fuck?
talking to my mom.
No, I wouldn't have let you miss any of this movie.
No, I was talking to my mom during the movie. I
No,
had to.
That's fine.
Something happened.
Whatever.
I missed that.
You missed
Yeah,
the
that's what
Boo
it is.
Box.
Spacing
It's
out.
that somebody bet against Captain Hook and being able to capture Peter Pan, and their
Uh-huh.
punishment is to go into what they call the Boo Box, and they just drop him in the treasure chest, and they open a little latch on the top and drop scorpions in with the pirate who betrayed Captain Hook.
Mm-hmm. As they're dropping it. Boo.
Nice.
Boo.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I do like his methods.
Yeah.
I do like his stage presence.
Yeah, I
He'd be
think
a
that...
hell of an entertainer. You know?
one more thing to talk about, and then we got to talk about Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, please. I would love
So, the There You Are, Peter scene. That's a sweet scene. Where the little lost boy is just shaping his face back into a smile and
We
making
did talk
his
about
eyes
this. When he chooses
right
his
up.
successor, it should have been that kid. The
But
kid
he
who
wasn't
believed-
mature enough.
No,
but
but
neither is Peter Pan.
Yeah.
In the Peter Pan mythos, I think childhood is purity. Young or old. Older should be worse. You can't say he's too young because no one's technically too young. The ideal Peter Pan would be like a literal baby who knows nothing but sword fighting.
And he's 8 in the original
courage.
novel.
Yeah,
It
but
was
that
very
kid was probably
courageous.
around 8, and he
Gave
chose
a
to believe in
rallying
Peter.
speech
Yep.
to everybody.
Yep.
He did,
He-
but at the same time, Thud, he had his moment of doubt, but afterwards he was with Peter through and through.
No.
He gave him the inspiration he needed to be like, to think about his mother.
I know, but really what they should have...
Yeah.
I mean, they have the scene where Thud, he has the marbles and stuff, but I think really
And
they...
he kept Toodles' marbles all these years.
but
That is the. I will say that is a huge
I
factor.
think they probably should have just combined the two characters. I think
like
that the
that, yeah.
smarter thing would be to combine the two characters.
I like that he had the
basically,
flaw of not believing in Peter at first.
The kid who smiles, who makes him smile, like is basically written out of the movie after that scene, which
Yeah,
is
he
is.
weird. I mean, he's
No,
there. They
but
keep
he
showing
doesn't
him, but
have
he never
much
does
of a-
anything else ever again.
much of an arc after that.
Yeah.
Or anything. It was just
That's
was
his
a really
arc right
powerful.
there.
That was it was a really powerful moment,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
kind of grew attached to that character at that
Yeah.
point. And it's disappointing to not see him further in the story,
Yeah.
aside from being involved in the fight and being there during Peter's journey.
Yeah.
True.
So
All right, well, I mean...
yeah, if you got a good character, you should
Yeah,
really
yeah. Keep going with him.
Because that
yeah.
was a really beautiful scene.
Yeah, it was. It was. I think one of the better scenes of the movie
Yeah.
is him thinking it could be Peter Pan and the belief and that idea in the Peter Pan mythos of believing in something, believing in fairies, believing in Pan, believing in staying young forever, believing in food even.
Believing that the crocodile can still come back to life and kill you.
Yeah, and make you, I don't know, evaporate into dust. Which you
I guess
wonder.
like,
all
An
those-
interesting thing is if you believe it in Neverland, it can come true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crocodile like goes down and she just slurps him up
And then where does he go?
in the stomach, I imagine.
I did wonder that too. Is that all this time Captain Hook is longing for death, and the death he receives maybe because he like evaporates almost. Is he even really?
You strike me down now.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
powerful than you
Did
can
he
possibly
get the death he
imagine.
wished for, or is he just inside the stomach of that crocodile, like
Slowly
being
disintegrating.
tortured? Or yeah. What does the Sarlacc pit digest you for 1,000 years? Like, did he get the death he desired, or is it a much darker ending than that? I don't know.
Neverland.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dark movie at times, so
Yeah.
whatever your
Yeah.
headcanon is,
Yeah,
Alex.
I like to
I-
believe that he did die, but I don't
Well,
know.
then it
There's
will
no
become
body,
true.
so
Just talking about that scene with the kid when he recognizes Peter and then going to the weird faux death of Captain Hook with the crocodile.
Yeah,
This movie
yeah.
does really take some
it
deep
just-
lows and
yeah,
really high highs.
I did.
It's some
I
severe
when
whiplash.
he takes the wig off and stuff.
If you
and-
can't, if
and
you
Peter,
can't,
and Peter
Yes.
starts walking away. I thought Hook was gonna bring back. I thought that was now the point of the suicide conversation. Was that he was gonna do like the kind of cinematic like kill me,
Please.
end it, Pan, end it now, and he wasn't gonna do it. And that was gonna frustrate, but he didn't do that. I
Yeah.
wanted a
That would have been a
traditional-
little more.
I wanted an
satisfying.
honorable death for Captain Hook.
Yeah.
I think he deserves
After
an
all
honorable
these
Well,
death.
it's
years.
because all this time he is obsessed with good form, but he doesn't have good form.
Mm-hmm.
But to know that you have good form is in a way bad form. The best form of good form is having good form without realizing you have good form.
The trick to acting is
up.
to act like you're not acting.
I'm not making this up.
Shut up.
This is I took that directly from the book.
True.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
That's obnoxious.
Doesn't happen.
But that does sound like a quote.
That's
Yeah,
not
we
That's
what
why
talked
he
about
hates
that.
Smee. Smee has good form, and he considers killing Smee at times, but then he realizes killing a man with good form would be bad form.
Is abandoning good form?
I don't know.
Abandonment? Because
But yeah, Dustin Hoffman. Let's talk about
Yes!
the cast and Dustin Hoffman, but mainly Dustin Hoffman.
'Kay.
Because this is Dustin Hoffman's movie.
Yeah, I mean it's called Hook, so you would hope
It
so.
is.
What time is it?
It's 3:30.
All right.
Got 15 minutes, I'd
We're
say.
good. Yeah.
Part
no.
2.
No.
I think we'll finish. Dustin
That's what she
Hoffman.
said.
Yeah,
Anyways,
she's wrong. All right, you can cut that.
no, I'm not cutting any of this.
No cut.
Anyway, Dustin Hoffman.
Gives us stellar fucking performance,
Yeah.
as he always does.
Yeah.
You can expect no less from this man, but to get a character as complex as Captain Hook, this villainous, you don't think he's a strong character?
I think he's a strong character.
I'd say he's complex,
I would
too.
say that. Yeah, I guess that's right. I don't
He
know.
is very complex.
he's
He's
like-
this child and living in this make-believe world in a way.
Yeah.
Who has this vendetta against children when he's
Yeah.
clearly a stronger person physically.
Yeah.
And he has all this self-doubt and very irrational fears. Treats people at the
I'm
disciples
sorry.
as absolute.
Did you see the size of that fucking crocodile?
pretty
That's
big.
a rational thing to be
Well,
afraid
He's
of.
scared of clocks.
But yeah, the ticking part is like that he somehow like took a very rational fear of like a sci-fi channel original movie style crocodile and like funneled that into
Embodied into the ticking of a clock.
clocks. Yeah,
Well, it's
that's
because
irrational.
it's because the clock always
Was in
warned
the
him when the
stomach.
crocodile
Yeah.
was
No,
there.
I mean,
but one day the clock is gonna run down, and that's when the croc is gonna be able to
Yeah.
sneak up and get him. It's
So
time
shouldn't the
literally
clock
running
be
out.
a comforting sound? Like, I can still hear it.
It's called PTSD, and it's not a joke, Emma.
You had him laughing.
Why did because then you have to wonder why when he built this after he defeated the clock and presumably the Lost Boys with the disappearance of Peter Pan and he decided to
display.
why put a clock in the gator's mouth? I can understand
It doesn't
displaying
work
the
though.
gator,
The clock is broken.
but still.
He turned it
Because
into
he's
a quiet
complex
clock.
man and he's weird. And he wants to show off.
Is that
Also, Captain Hook
complex
isn't
or just
even-
insane. Like if I'm a pirate and they're like, all right, we won. We're gonna take over Neverland. We won. We got rid of all of our problems. We got rid of Peter Pan and we got
He's
rid of
gone.
the crocodile.
We rule.
So now we're gonna just like develop our own personal pirate economy and become just like normal
Yeah.
people. And that's what they do. And then Captain Hook, who is your president, is like, I'm gonna turn my
This
one true
very
fear
metro
into a clock and I'm gonna put a
melodramatic.
time. Like this dude's fucking
He's
nuts.
dramatic.
Yes, of course he is.
He's
Yeah.
flashy.
Do you
he's
not
campy.
remember?
Yeah. No, I know.
The guy has a thing for dramatics.
Yeah, you're right.
And Captain Hook is actually not even... Hook isn't his real name.
Yeah.
His real name is.
No one knows. That's the thing.
Oh.
Hook is actually like a huge part of Britain's actual history. And to reveal who he really was would even today set the country in a blaze. So apparently he was someone that was huge in Britain's history that turned evil. That they can't reveal who it was because it would wreck the entire government if
The
they
Dread
found out.
Pirate Roberts. Is
Oh
that his
God.
name?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're saying he was like a government figure who like leaves.
Yeah. He attended Eton College.
Sure.
He sailed. He turned to piracy. Yeah.
Wow.
And then he finds
Also, his blood is
Neverland,
blue.
and he decides to stay in
Isn't all of
Neverland.
our blood blue?
No, it's a myth.
Really?
Our veins can be blue, but blood
Yeah.
itself is red.
Oh, I always thought that was kind of cool.
But yeah, Dustin Hoffman gives such a damn good performance. I mean,
Guys.
Robin Williams
But-
does too. Bob Hoskins does.
Once again, no British accent.
Yeah.
We have taken Peter Pan for America, USA.
Dustin Hoffman's, the control he has
Yeah.
over his voice, though,
Mhm.
as an actor, is something I respect immensely because you can manipulate your voice in so many ways once it's trained to a certain
Friggin'
point.
nasally laugh he does.
And
Yeah.
he really does.
I would have nominated him for an Oscar for this
Yeah.
part.
I think if we nominated Robert Downey Jr.
That's the
for
thing. If-
Osiris in what's his name, like Sergeant Osiris in Tropic Thunder, then we could give Dustin Hoffman a nod. Not that I
Yes.
don't love Tropic
Everyone
Thunder.
keeps saying Robert Downey Jr. deserves an Oscar for his portrayal as Iron Man, and no, he doesn't. He's
Yeah.
great as Iron Man,
Yeah,
but
he's
he's
a great
Robert
Iron
Downey Jr.
Well,
being a different
and-
form
and
of Robert
also-
Downey
Yeah,
Jr.
exactly.
Yeah, because
Especially now.
He's great.
Robert Downey
but
Jr. didn't like inhabit the character of Iron Man. He just
Was-
bent the character of Iron Man into
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. He got to
he
decide
gives a
because
good performance.
yeah, he does, but he got to decide who
What
Iron Man
this
was
character
because
was.
nobody really
Mhm.
knew Iron Man
Yeah.
as well. And yeah, there'd been like a decent amount written of Tony Stark,
Mhm.
but not so much. And like it's all kind of the same bit.
Yep.
So he got to basically create the modern mythos of Iron Man
Right.
in the same way that like Heath Ledger created the modern Joker.
Yeah.
Like everybody is basing their Joker off Heath Ledger and his performance.
True.
Not-
I keep rewatching
There's
the
also-
trailer for Joker with Joaquin. I'm getting so excited.
This is the first. This was the first big live action Peter Pan
Yeah,
movie to
yeah.
happen in history.
Whereas that, yeah, and
So-
I do think that Dustin Hoffman truly becomes Hook, not the other way around. He doesn't decide who Hook is going to be, and
No.
then he knows the mythology, he knows the character of Hook, and he says, I know who this character is, and I'm going to do my best job to do that character justice.
He gives a very animated portrayal.
He didn't practice on set.
Yeah.
He would always come on and he would be very improv
Yeah.
when he was there.
Uh-huh.
And he said he never plays bad guys. He never judges bad guys.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Like, he's like, when I'm playing a bad guy, I'm going to play this, and I'm not even going to think about how he might be in the wrong. I'm in the right as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And in order to play any character well, in my opinion, you have to be able to
Sympathize with them.
To sympathize and empathize, but also recognize those issues.
Yeah.
But once you start to recognize the issues that they have or their complexities and relate to them and find the good in them is when you can really truly present a character authentically, I think.
True.
Because then you are telling the truth.
Yeah.
You're believing everything, even if it is villainous. So he does a really good job of doing that.
Yes. I'd say it's impressive how Robin Williams is able to play Peter Banning more than he can play Peter Pan. That's the true story. This isn't about Peter Banning becoming Peter Pan. This is about Peter Banning learning how to be Robin Williams again.
I've got really emotional watching this because,
Robin Williams,
and he really kind of, as a person, from what we know of him, has a lot of attributes that you see in Peter Banning and Peter Pan in this movie.
Oh boy, here come my tears.
Right?
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Robot.
I got pretty... Sorry.
I didn't know him.
I didn't either, but...
No, I know.
Robin Williams has become like a huge figure post-mortem in the face of depression and what you can put in front of it. And because this movie has so many very dark, depressing underlying tones and his character himself is very comedic, it's very reflective of his true self. And I feel like Robin Williams really was kind of a Peter Pan figure in which, not that he didn't grow up, but he kept his childlike wonder about him his whole life.
And to hear that last line that he delivers, live would be an awfully big adventure.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a happy person and that you still have the childlike wonder. It doesn't make you have that perspective of a child and making, I don't know what the word it is I'm looking for. I'm getting emotional.
That's fine.
Yeah, there's this rose-tinted glasses of being able to find the good in things.
Yeah.
If you grow up with that as an adult, it makes things more difficult for you. And
True.
I feel as though Robin Williams probably related a lot to this character more so than he even let on at the time. But in doing so, his portrayal of Peter Pan, even if the writing was topsy-turvy at times, he does a really good job.
I mean, he puts his all into it, and that's the thing, is that I really do think that this movie had, so much good for it that it would be hard to mess up.
Yeah.
And that it definitely had some dips, but it's hard to really say this is a bad movie because of everybody gave it their all except for what was, I think, at times a very weird script, and that almost it seemed, and I don't even want to put that on one writer. I don't even say that it's a writer. It seemed as almost like a writer had written something great, and that producers had come in and continuously doctored it over and over and over again, and that's how you end up with these little pieces that are okay, one writer thought that Peter Pan should fight Hook, and one writer thought that Peter Pan shouldn't fight Hook, and they were both editing back and forth. They'd be okay, he fights, and the other writer come in and say, now he doesn't fight, and another writer would come in and go, no, he's not, he is going to fight now, and they were fighting each other through the script, and that's why you end up with this kind of whipping back and forth because there's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it needed to be one person's singular
There's
vision.
not food.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think I don't know why my sense of time right now is totally off. Did you say during the movie or right after we finished that there were a couple of writers who had the idea of what they wanted this movie to be? A very happy movie and a very sad one, and both of the directors' visions came out?
No, that's just how...
Else?
No,
and
the
actual novel.
The actual novel goes between very light and very dark.
Okay.
There's only one director, only Steven Spielberg, and who unfortunately hates this movie.
I swear, I just had a conversation with someone about a movie, about what they wanted the movie to look like. Maybe it was The Lobster. I'm not sure. A movie that I just watched.
Since we are running out of time,
yes,
I just
sorry.
want to quickly, since we won't have time to discuss all of these little points, I'm just going to read my little notes, and
I have
so
to
I can
go
say
to
that I
work.
got to
I'm
it.
sorry, everybody.
No, it's fine. Come on, Daddy, Mommy could do it. Bitch move, Maggie. Peter cheats on his wife. A lot. Hook suicide scene. Oh my god. I know we already talked about it, but oh my god.
Funny.
Hook and Smee, they have old married couple vibes,
Yes,
and I
they
love
do.
it. Robin Williams did most of his own stunts in this movie, so
Awesome.
that's pretty cool.
This is just
That
a
is-
fun
that
fact
is-
roller
that is
coaster
crazy.
right here.
The dinner scene. They really know how to make nothing look very delicious.
It's just frosting. I mean, it's just.
Oh no, I'm talking about when it was just steam and they were grabbing shit out of there and pretending to eat it. Awesome.
Child actors.
I have always
love
wanted
them.
to eat that multicolored frosting. That's what
Oh,
I
we'll get
remember
there.
most distinctly from this movie. Is that
It's
when I was a
trademark.
kid, it is what?
It's trademark part of this movie, I feel.
Yeah. It's crazy how much I want to eat that multicolored frosting even to this day. Even the paint when Peter's like trying to fly and he
That
lands
also
in
looks
big
delicious,
bucket. Yeah,
right?
I know. I would eat that paint.
It looked
And-
like Play-Doh to me. What
Whatever
the
it
hell?
is.
No, it was too moopy to be
Yeah.
Play-Doh.
Moopy.
Yeah, moopy.
But it is weird that they
Um,
go directly from a scene with multicolored, delicious-looking frosting to a multicolored barrel
Mud bath?
of paint, and you wonder what is food and what is not in this
Maybe
Neverland
that's
world.
what creates Neverland.
yeah.
Back
Gandhi
where
ate more
paint.
than this.
Yeah.
We
There are
had
some
the
good pop culture references that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
we had the insults of the goddamn century, such as nearsighted gynecologist, which when I typed this into my phone, I typed in nearsighted and gynecologist actually came up in suggestions. So thank you, phone. Damn it, they made real food look very delicious too. I want to eat that rainbow paste so
My
badly.
stomach is grumbling right now.
Hook probably really wishes he could just kill Maggie after her singing. Because
Yes.
that's, well, one, it's bad form, and two, he needs her alive to complete his plan.
It was a little pitchy.
A little bit.
That's a little girl. Fuck you.
I liked her though. I liked her scarfing down the hot dog and drawing the picture of a plane
Oh,
burning
yeah.
and falling.
No, the boy made the picture.
Oh,
he
well,
just
I liked
showed it
the
to her,
picture.
and she was like, "Dad, look."
Oh, right. I want to quickly
Yeah.
talk about that picture. In the picture, you have the three family members with parachutes, and then Peter is falling to his death. But there are sharks in the water. Everyone's dead, no matter what. So some of them are just going to be able to watch their dad get torn apart to shreds
Right before they
while they
do.
slowly go into their
Well,
own
maybe the sharks will be
demise.
full.
Yeah, maybe. The costumes were absolutely phenomenal.
Amazing.
They clearly took some inspiration from the Disney one as a base, and then they
Yeah.
just friggin' ran with it.
Maggie Smith's ball gown was my favorite.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn good. Hook's costume is
It's
my
my
favorite.
favorite,
I actually
yeah.
designed my own Hook cosplay after that costume.
Ooh, share it.
Yeah, I will.
Picture.
When the woman is taking off Hook's hook at the ball game, she kind of has an orgasm. That was weird.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, "Ooh, we got sexual all of a sudden."
There's a lot of sexual tension
Then
in
I
this
started
movie.
wondering, does Hook have sex with people? But then I got off into a tangent in my own brain. Maybe that's when I missed the
Uh-oh.
scorpion scene.
He has a touch of a feminine side,
Tangent.
so he's a little gay.
He was a little metro. But I love it.
He's stealing second. Bam!
I love
Very
that.
violent sport, baseball.
Pirate baseball.
Yeah.
Pirate sports.
There
I
was
die.
smoke on the ball that Smee threw at the end. Nostalgia Critic puts it best. Smee is a fucking Olympian. The flashback scene, fantastic. Peter learning to fly again. That's my favorite movie scene ever. Honestly, can't help it. The music
What?
absolutely slays me. We can have that debate later, but it's a great scene. Don't worry, I'm getting there.
Fine.
I hate the big Tink scene. We already talked about that. Peter knows how to make a hell of an entrance because he cuts out a big shadow of himself
That
and
was
then flies
dope.
into the
Yeah,
friggin'
except
sail.
for they couldn't really cut it into the sail because then when he's standing there, it's his head,
It's
and
not
then
the
it's like a
cutout, yeah.
triangle, and I thought that was sad.
Shut the hell up. Hook clearly
We're
loves
nothing.
Peter and loves him in his life. They fought with a chicken, and that was neat.
Yeah, and acidic paint that sprays in their eyes, and they're
Yes.
like, ah!
And the fat
me
kid
eyes,
turns
me
into a
eyes.
ball.
Yeah,
He
and
did.
the fat kid turns into a literal ball because we gotta squeeze this 9-year-old is fat. Like, come on, Spielberg.
Another quote from the Nostalgia Critic, which if you guys haven't checked out
You didn't
Nostalgia
have
Critic,
short round.
you really should. If Robin Williams came at me with a sword and told me he was Peter Pan, I'd jump too.
Oh yeah, I loved that.
Ah,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
ain't you Peter Pan? Ah!
Yeah.
When Rufio dies, suddenly a giant fan just blows on Peter.
Yeah.
No!
I wondered what that was too. and I couldn't explain it.
I can see the giant fan just...
Yeah, he was like, he sees Rufio die, and is like, it was half a second. That was weird.
When Peter is fighting Hook for a moment and their shadows are there, the shadow of Peter is actually a child. So...
That's cool.
Sweet.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, young Peter Pan is hot, by the way. I know
You
he's
are now
younger.
on a list.
I know.
No,
we already
okay,
established that
sorry.
in the live stream.
Quick side note here. When Peter Pan shows up into the room, and he's Peter Pan, and when he's like, I'm old now, that's my daughter, or that's my granddaughter. And Peter goes, oh, wow.
I want to.
I'm going to give her a kiss. And she goes, no, don't give her a thimble because then you're going to leave. And he goes, no, a real kiss. Wendy allows Peter Pan to sexually assault her 13-year-old daughter. That's a real thing that happens in this movie. What the fuck? I'm sorry. They can't...
I'm so glad we didn't forget that.
Yeah. That just happened. That happened in this movie. It's got to take points away from the movie for me.
They got married.
That clearly makes it
Yep.
okay. Stockholm Syndrome.
Syndrome.
At the this is Gwyneth Paltrow's first movie, so that's cool.
Right. I think we got to give it our letter grades.
Okay.
And then...
Yeah.
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 Well, I got through all my notes, so that's really
Okay.
good.
Good.
Great.
Breathe.
But as you can see, if we had talked about each of those notes, this would probably be a 2.5 hour.
Yeah.
You might as well just watch
Well,
Hook.
you're welcome, because
Yeah.
I have to go to work.
Yeah.
Shut up, Emma. We'll talk about this movie continuously.
We probably
Anyways,
will. I need a moment to think of the letter grade I want to give it.
should I start?
Yeah, obviously.
Sorry, that whole thing with me listing off my notes was probably a roller coaster for you guys. I'm out of breath. It was fun. As a person...
No, 1 grade.
Hold on.
1 grade.
As a person, this is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
So I'd give it an A+.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker,
Cheater.
I would probably give it a solid B.
So which one are you going with?
Well,
Pick one.
you know what? It's
That's
my
your real... Then give it the A+.
yeah. I'm giving it an A+ because it's my favorite movie of all time. It has sentimental value to me, and honestly, I ask you guys every time: does this movie have the right to be on your list? Hell yes, this movie has the right to be on my list. Liz asked me how the movie was going earlier. I'm gonna go home. We're probably gonna watch this movie again tonight. So
give it the A+.
Yeah, give it the A+.
It's an A+. This movie's bangarang.
I'm a little undecided at the moment because I enjoyed it. Had a lot of weird moments. I think the performances were pretty good all around, especially by the two A-list names.
Yeah.
Would I watch it again anytime soon? Probably not.
She will.
Would
Doesn't
I
have a choice.
suggest it to anybody? Maybe not.
She will. She doesn't have a choice.
For what it is, I'm gonna give it a C+.
That's fair.
I give it a C+.
I believe is the first time ever in which 2 people have the same grade. C+.
C+. Yeah, guys. Again, I know this movie has
But
flaws.
Watch
so.
it if you want something.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like if it's like you want something that's gonna take you back to your childhood. You wanna watch like a solid 90s
if
movie.
you want to have all
like,
of the emotions.
It's so 90s, they cannot stop putting children on skateboards. and I know they're kids and they're in a jungle, but they have to have a half pipe with skateboards because the 90s.
Fuck
and
yeah.
the only thing we know that kids do in 1991 is skateboard.
Yeah, if you've not seen this movie, see this movie.
Quality nostalgia.
If for anything, to
And
see
Jurassic
Robin
Park
Williams
isn't available,
on film and to
then-
see Dustin Hoffman give an amazing performance, watch this movie.
Yeah.
He had to shave his
magical.
chest for this role.
It's magical.
They wouldn't let him be Peter Pan until he shaved his chest.
Oh, I was thinking.
I
Dustin
loved the
Hoffman.
little
I was
face
like,
he had on his stomach with the nipples as eyes.
Little smiley face, and then his boobs were jiggling.
All right, I'm gonna be late for work.
All right.
That's
well,
fine.
Thanks for
Probably
joining us,
not, but-
everybody.
All right.
This
Tristan's
was fun.
favorite movie.
Tristan,
Yep.
thank you for sharing
Hook.
this with
You're
us.
so welcome. And with that, bangarang!
Bangarang, everybody.
And this is
Bye.
my Hook shirt. Bye, guys.
Aww.